So in this video, we'll be covering what the moon in Aries means in the 5th house. So with that being said, in general, when the moon is in Aries, what this indicates is there is emotional impulsiveness about the individual, or there's like an emotional directness. So a lot of times people that have this placement, they like to act on how they're feeling immediately, or they are just very direct about how they feel, and usually they express their emotions through their actions. They may not even communicate how they feel, they will just act on it. Whenever they feel like doing something, they have an emotional need to be able to do it. Aries is the sign about action and just doing things. And the moon shows what gives somebody security, or it just shows like an emotional need. So a lot of times people with moon in Aries have this need to be in charge of things, at least when it comes to their own personal security and their own freedom in their own life, because they just need to be able to do things the way that they want to do it. Or else they will experience negative emotions such as frustration, anger, irritation, all the Aries kind of emotions. And those things will build up. And then they might have emotional outbursts in the form of anger or aggression and stuff like that. So in this case, the moon is also in the 5th house. And the 5th house shows us our character. It shows us our ego and our value to others. So when the moon is in the 5th house in Aries, this indicates that your security, in this case, comes from your ego and from your sense of self and from your identity. And more so, it comes from your self-confidence, because again, the moon in Aries is about having the ability to act as one wishes, and also about being direct about how they feel. And the 5th house is about confidence and ego. So generally speaking, people with this placement, they will be very protective of their ego. They're very self-defensive if people come for their ego, and they're competitive as well. They like to hold that top spot, and they have a desire to be successful and to be seen as successful. But generally speaking, they're generous. They love to give to others, and they want to be in a position where they can give freely and where they can be like a source of pleasure and value to other people. That's what gives them confidence and security. And, an example of when this doesn't happen is if this person feels like they're not successful or they don't have the resources to do what they want, then it also starts to affect their self-esteem, and it starts to affect their emotions. They start to feel unhappy because they just want to be in a position to be able to act how they want to, and also to give value to others. That's the most important part. That's where their emotional security comes from. They like to feel like a valuable person. And when the moon is in the 5th house, it's in the 2nd house from its own house, which is the 4th house. And so their security comes from a resource in this case. And the resource is confidence, because confidence is the resource that allows for one to act as they wish, or one to act openly and freely. So that's why these individuals have an emotional need for confidence. So if your sun, if you have this placement and your sun in your chart is well placed, then you will feel very emotionally happy and secure. But if you had like a weak sun, or you had negative aspects or even transits to your sun, or you're reaching like a low point in your life in terms of confidence, or all those kind of situations will negatively affect your emotions. So like if your confidence is low, then you may experience things like depression, or you may feel like you're not able to be the person that you want to be. And anyways, that basically sums up what I wanted to cover about this placement. But as well, they need to feel respected. That's what it means as well, because when when the moon is in Aries, it's in the 10th sign from its own sign. And so there's 10th house influence here. 10th is about respect, authority, and being a leader. And also it's about our reputation and how we are seen. So with the moon here in the 5th house in Aries, their ego is very tied to their identity, and it's also tied to their reputation and how they are seen by others. And so they're very careful about those things, and they are very defensive of their reputation and their position. And they're very competitive as well, and they're risk takers. And so that basically sums up this placement. I hope you saw yourself in this video in some way and that you learned something. If you did, or you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.